Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to week 15 of the semester. Welcome to the very last week and welcome to your very last class for semester 2, 2021. Now, my apologies. I had to cancel up the class in the morning due to some emergencies. So therefore, I am recording this video whereby we can all go over the remainder of the work that is left for the semester. So if you look at week 15 section of the module shell, I have given you a set of HTML codings. So I will ask you to download this up. So once you have downloaded it, you'll have to open up the folder. So this is how it is. So the folder is index.html. So once you open it up, this is what you get. Now at the moment, everything is scattered up. Now what I have done in this exercise is I have given you all the aspects of the HTML elements. All you have to do is apply styling to it. So what type of styling do you apply? So you basically would need to go and apply the styling whereby this is how your page would look. So you have a banner, you have the navigation bar. With it, you have some contents with images, and then some more contents, and finally you have a footer. So this is what we will be going over in today's class and in this particular video. So I hope that all of you would be able to take out some time to go over it. It's not so difficult. It's pretty easy, pretty interesting. And I hope that all of us, we will be able to cope up with it very, very well. Okay, so just a quick reminder, your project 2 is due today. So please try to take time out and try your very best to get it submitted today so that I could release your course over the weekend or by Monday to Tuesday evening to max. Okay, so without further delays, let's go and work on this. So what I will do is I will go onto my folder which I have downloaded from Moodle, and I would go and refer to the index page, and in it I will go and do open with Notepad. So once we're here, we'll see few elements. So you have a title. Okay, your style sheet is already connected and the name of the style is style.csl. Now you don't have a style sheet in your folder. No, you don't. Now style.css.back, this is not a style sheet. Okay, our file name should be style.css according to the notepad. So this is what we should be having in here. Moreover, the rest of it is plain simple HTML elements. Now, you'll also notice that all your HTML sections have been put into dividers whereby it is given a selector called class and the names accordingly. For example, there is a selector here called content and then column 1, column 2, column 3. So containers within a container, okay? And then you have another container called footer here, and then copyright. So we'll work on this. You also have a navigation bar and you'll have a banner as well. Now let's go and work on this very, very properly. All right. Now, first of all, I would like to view the design. So you have a banner on top and then you have a navigation bar. So if I would have a look at my code at the moment, so my navigation bar is right on top and then I have a banner. So that means it does not go in order according to what I have as per the design. So I need to have a banner first, then followed by the navigation bar rather. So in simple terms, I will take out all of this, Control X to cut and paste it right underneath the banner. So banner and then navigation bar suits well. Okay, so straight up, I'll go and click on File and then New. Now in here, okay, so in here, I will actually go and create my style.css page. So File again, then Save As. So where do I want to save this? I want to save this inside the folder where I had opened it up. So Lab Complete Website 2, open it up, open up the folder. So this is where it's supposed to go. I will name this as style.css. Now, in simple terms, what we're doing here is the style sheet that you are creating, you need to ensure it's within the same folder where your other HTML pages are. Else, it might not be able to link it up. All right. So style.css and then hit the save button. So when I go into this folder, I've got a style.css file within the folder. Now to test things out, so let's go and test it. So simple. Let's go and add a background color. So body selector. And to set a background color, so background hyphen color, and let's go and set the color to red. Control S to save. So when you do that, and when you refresh this up, it should change to color red. If it does not change, either you have not set up the file inside the folder, or you have not labeled, you have not put in the code correctly. All right, so you need to ensure so this is correct. All right, everyone. So let's cancel this off. Control S to save. Go back to the browser. F5 to refresh. All good? Okay, first things first. Let's go and set the banner. Now to set the banner, so we need to call out the name. Okay, so if you would go and view your HTML page, let me open this up as well again, and then open with Notepad. So this is what you have. We'll need to view this every now and then. Okay, so the name of the container is banner. So therefore, let's go and call out the container. So style.css. So I will put a comment first and say banner, close of the comment. So in here, I need to call out class. To call out the class, you have a period sign, then banner, open and close parenthesis. So from here, you need to go and set out the width. So the width, let's go and set it to 100%, followed by a semicolon and Control S to save. So once I do that, I can go and refresh my browser. Now you won't see much changes. Remember, we are not setting the width of the image to 100%. We're only setting the container to 100%. Okay, so do not get over anxious about it. So again, in style sheet. So next up, we need to go and set it to float. So float it to the left-hand side, semicolon, Control S to save. Always go and refresh your browser. So this is what you get. After this, we want to go and control the banner image. To control the banner image, so first of all, you need to call out your banner because the image is inside the banner. Remember last week? And then image tag, open and close parentheses. So this is where we can actually go and set the width of the image according to the size that you want to. Now, what we want to have here is whole length of the screen, that is 100%. So therefore, in your style sheet again, so you'll have width as 100%, followed by a semicolon, and also you need to go and set a height. So the height, let's go and put in a height of 300 pixels. Now, why 100% for width? Remember, width, if you want to have it responsive, that means if you want to see your image in a mobile phone, in a tablet, or of a different screen size, and you want it to auto adapt to it, so therefore you need to set the width to 100%. And then also with the image, the height is not necessarily you need to put it to 100% or 300% or 10% and so forth. You can always give the height in terms of pixels. Should be height here. Pardon me for that. Okay. Now let's go and see what do you get. So can we go and refresh the browser? So this is what you get. Notice that the image is pixelated. We are not worrying about the quality of the image here at the moment. We just want to set it according to the style, according to the design of the website. So we are done with the banner. This is pretty simple. Nothing difficult, nothing of a magical wand being wandered off. Okay, in simple codes, what we have learned so far. The next thing that we need to focus on is on your navigation bar. Now, you have some set of codes on navigation whereby you have home, about us, product, services, and contact us. Now, what we want to do is we want to have it aligned horizontally. Now, we need to do some bit of work in here. So next up, let's go and feed in a comment, and let's call that comment as navigation bar. So navigation bar. All right. So in here, okay, let's go and call out the name of the class. So the name of the class that you have is navbar. All right. So minimize this. So let's call it out. How to call it out? Use a class selector that is a period and then nav hyphen bar opening close parenthesis. Now inside it, you'll actually go and feed in the codes. So the first thing that you want to do is we want to get rid of the lists. So to get rid of it, so list hyphen style hyphen type, let's go and set it to none, semicolon. So when you do that, look at the bullet points, refresh. Okay, something went wrong. Let's have a look at this. So list style type, and then you have none. Let's save this up here as well. Pardon me. And then refresh. Okay, we're not able to remove it. Let's see what went wrong again. So this is LIUL. Okay. All right. Now, why are we getting that error? I'll tell you why. Remember, navigation bar, UL is missing from here. Now Control S to save, and then let's go and refresh our browser. Good. Okay. Now see how I've identified the error. So I was not able to get rid of the bullet points. Then I went and noticed the code. So inside the nav bar, you had UL, and inside the left bar UL, you have LI. So we need to be considerate when we're doing these things. Okay. So we have set it to none, and this is what you get. Next up, we're still on UL. Okay. So let's go and set a background color. Background hyphen color. Let's go and set it to a hash code this time. Hash codes, how to get the hash colors? Remember, I showed it to you last week. CSS colors on Google search, w3schools.com. You should be able to get these colors accordingly. So 3 and 3, 6 zeros in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, followed by a semicolon. Control S to save. Go to the browser. 5 to refresh. Back in color. All good? All right. Now further on, let's go and control the margin and the padding. So margin, let's have a margin of 0 followed by a semicolon, and then padding, let's also have a padding of 0 followed by a semicolon. And when you do that, this is what you get. Everything gets cornered up towards the left-hand side. All right. Now there's one more thing that we normally call it as an overflow. So if your text content is too much inside that unordered listing, what happens is sometimes it goes to the next page, or it goes outside the black range of the UL. So we don't want to do that. So if ever there is a case, what you can do is you can always hide those features. So let's go and get an overflow, colon, hidden, followed by a semicolon. Control S to save. You won't see much changes at the moment. Okay. Now, don't worry if it's got behind the image at the moment. I'll tell you what to do next. Okay. Now, after that, if you look at the code, okay, so inside the code, you have navbar ULLI. So let's go and call it out. Okay. Why do you think it goes behind the image? So you have navbar ULLI. So why do you think it goes behind the image? So if you want to control it, you need to control the floating elements. So float it to the left-hand side, followed by a semicolon, Control S to save. It means wherever your banner container finishes, it should start off from there onwards. So refresh. Still I'm not able to get it. Okay, hold on. We'll control it, and you'll get to know how to control each and every element from there. All right. After that, let's go and control the entire nav bar. Now see, what we're doing at the moment is we're only controlling UL, LI. What we do need to do is go and control the entire of the nav bar as well. So to do that, so we will have period sign and the nav hyphen bar, opening closing parenthesis, and then in here you'll have to go and set the width to full length. Have a look at this, full length. So therefore, what percentage would that be? 100%, followed by a semicolon, control S to save. So let's go and have a look at this. Okay, we are not able to see it still at the moment. Don't worry, we'll fix it up. Okay, and then let's go and float it to the left hand side. Do you think you should be able to see it now? Control S to save and then refresh your browser. There you go. All right. Then let's go and also extend the size of the height a bit. Okay, it's too stiffed up at the moment. Let's go and control it. Now to control the size of the height, so height, let's go and set it up to 50 pixels. Semicolon. Now why 50 pixels? You can set it to any amount that you'd like to, but I'm controlling it as 50 pixels. Should you want to have it more than 50 pixels, do so. Now do notice this, remember, we are not controlling the links, we are not controlling the UL, okay, or the LI. What you're controlling is the space of the container. Remember, you have navigation bar, invisible element. Inside that, you have your listings in form of UL, unordered listings. Okay, so let's go and control this further. So next up, straight after your nav bar, let's go and control your links, and in it we can go and set up the sizes or extend it a bit. So now nav bar, so nav hyphen bar, inside it you have a UL, so you can just have LI, call it LI directly, and then E. And then let's go and set the color of our links as white. So Control S to save. We can go and refresh the browser. Change to color white. Yes, it does. After that, let's go and set our text decoration. Notice that underneath the links, you have a line. So let's go remove that. So to remove the line, text hyphen decoration, and then set it to none, semicolon, Control S to save. We can go and refresh the browser. This is what it looks like at the moment. After that, let's go and control the link and display it as, this is the new element that you're learning, display as block, Control S to save, refresh the browser. Okay, don't worry, this is what you get. Now when you display as block, what happens, it gives you a block structure of the text. Okay, and in it you normally have some form of a padding control. So padding, because remember, content within a area, so padding, let's have it as 20 pixels to top and bottom, and left and right, let's have it as 160 pixels. Now let's remove this. Okay, Control S to save, and then refresh your browser. Too much content, see it goes below it. So if it goes below it, what you can do in here is you might need to go and adjust the size of this. Now let's have this as 150 pixels. Control S to save, and then refresh your browser. Still too much. Okay, bit better now. Okay, now notice this. Right now we are allocating size in terms of pixels, and it's going and it's having an effect on the width of the bar. Now, how many links do you have in total? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you would set this to percentages, do you think this might work? It can work. Now, remember, when you have two values like this, which you call it as a shorthand value, the first value is top and bottom, and the second value is left and right. So let's have this as 20%. Let's see if it works. Control S to save. If it doesn't work, we can change the value back. Okay, and then let me save it up. Control S to save. Let's go and refresh it up on the browser. No, it doesn't work accordingly. Okay, so in this case, what you can do is have it in terms of pixels. Okay, so 150 pixels, Control S to save. Let's go and refresh our browser. Now it's big in size. So let's cut it down a bit more. Let's say 110, Control S to save, and then refresh your browser. Okay, so you still have ample space. Let's see if you can increase it a bit. Okay. So let's have it as 120 pixels, Control S to save, and then refresh. Yep, looks better now. Moreover, let's go and align all this text to the center of the navigation bar. So to align text to center, so text hyphen align and then center, ER, followed by a semicolon, Control S to save. So once you've done that, you can go and refresh your browser. You won't see much changes because this is already being controlled by the padding. Okay, now notice this. By default, your home tab is gray. Now, how is that controlled? I think that code is already in the HTML. There you go. Background color is equals to gray. So that means if somebody would go and click on this, about us, do you see by default about us is on gray, product, services, and contact us. If you go back to home, this is control as such. Now you have a similar set of coding for all the pages. So in about us, you have a style added to this particular line. In products, this is where your background color will be equal to gray, and that is how it is controlled. But what I want to control is when I actually go and hover my cursor on top of those links, I should have some form of an effect. So let's go and try this out. So actually show that effect. So I will go and insert in a selector, therefore nav hyphen bar, and you have li and then a colon hover. It's a standard coding, and this is how you write it down normally. So your background color, so let's have a different color this time. Let's have a color called sienna. Now, how did I get the color? Three schools CSS colors. Okay, Control S to save. Go and refresh your browser. So when I place my cursor on top of the other links, I would see a change in color. So sienna is that color. Okay, and as for hover, the background color. Moreover, let's have the color as white. Now, what would this effect do? So you have a background color which changes to sienna and the color changes to white. So if I would go and refresh my browser, I click on it, not much changes. Okay. Now, what I actually wanted to do was when I would click on it, I wanted the color to change to white. But in fact, what has happened, my text color is already white in color. Do you notice this? Okay, let's try this out again. Pardon me. So if you look at your here, the color is white. Let's go and change the color, for example, to red. Control S to save. Let's go and refresh the browser. So when I place my cursor on top of it, do you see changes to color white? This is what the impact is. So we can have this as color white, but over here, let's go and change the color. Let's say it's already orangish in color. So let's go and change the color to red. Control S to save. And then refresh the browser. You see the effect changes to color red, the text color. All good so far, people? This is pretty simple, not so difficult. All right, moving on. Let's go and have a look at our index.html page. Next up, we have content. And this is how the content is set up. So we have an entire container, and within that container, you have 3 more small containers. So let's go and check it up. All right, and style it up accordingly. So the name of the container, okay, is content. So to do that, let's call out a comment. So content, and inside it, let's call out the class content, opening close parenthesis. So in it, let's go and set the width to 100%, followed by a semicolon. Control S to save. All good so far? Okay. Now, moreover, let's go and set the width of the entire container at 100% that we have done, and float it towards the left-hand side. Control S to save, and then refresh. This is what you get. Now we need to go and divide this up. To divide this up, you need to go and call out specific containers. So content column 1, content column 2, and content column 3. Let's go and get this done. Okay, so for content column 1, what we will do is we will go and set up, okay, set a few things. First of all, we'll have to divide it equally between the 3 elements, and then we will float it to the left-hand side. So sign to call it out. So content hyphen column, that's how it is, 1, opening close parenthesis. So here, the first thing you'll do is you will set the width to 33.33%. Control S to save. And at the same time, we'll also float it to the left-hand side of the page. Control S to save. So if you have, once you've saved it, refresh it up, this is what you get. So look at content column 1. Now underneath, you have the image as well. Let's go and have a look at our HTML page. So content column 1, with it, you have your image as well. Now what we will need to do is we'll need to set up the image so that it occupies the entire of this 33.33%. Okay, so how can we do that? To actually control the image, so what we'll do is this, call out content hyphen column 1, and then straight after you call out the image as well, open and close parentheses. So in there, what you will do next is control the image. And the image, what is the width? The width here will be how much? Think about it. 100%, 33.33%. Now over here, remember, 33.33% of column 1 is the entire section where the image is. So for the image, it will be 100%. So what you need to do is we need to ensure that there's a bit of space on the sides. So let's leave it to 90%, followed by a semicolon. Control S to save. And then we'll also need to set a height for the image, height, and then let's set it to about 400 pixels. Control S to save. Once you've done that, refresh. So this is what you get. Now, if you have done, if you've in 33%, your image would have been this small only. Now you have placed this as 90%, so it gives some space here in the middle. So if you would like to have it aligned properly, you can have it as text line and then have it as center. Control S to save and then refresh. So still it goes that much in the middle. Okay. Now we'll have to do the same for the other 3 columns, and all of them have a image as well. So to control it properly, the same set of codes. So what I will do is I will copy the entire of this, okay, and then paste it down here. So instead of having a content column 1, I'll change this to content column 2. Control S to save, and this one as well, content column 2, control S to save. Now this is how you make your work easy. Once you have the initial thing done properly, you can always go and control the other elements effectively. Okay, so after that, you may go and refresh your page. So this is what you get. Now, same thing with content column 3. So again, with content column 3, you have a class called content call 3, and then you have an image inside it. To have it properly controlled, same set of codes. Okay, control C to copy, take it down, control V to paste. So content column 2, let's change it to content column 3. Same thing here. Control S to save. You may go and refresh your browser. So far, so good. So at the moment we are in line. Now you see that this image is falling a bit down. Why? It's because of the size of the image. These two are not of a similar size. Okay. Or another reason could be is, in fact, I think it is of similar size. Yeah, it is of similar size, but there's an additional column in here. If you would remove this, it will go underneath it accordingly. Okay, so you can always control that. I'll leave it up to you for you. I'll leave it up to you to control those and try modifying few things here and there. So the next thing is we have this section. Now, what is this section called? Now, that section is called as footer. So you have footer left, footer right. So entire container, okay, so that will be 100%. And then you control footer left, footer right. So there's 2 columns only, so 50% each, okay? So let's go and control it up accordingly. So first one is we will go and insert in a comment as footer. After that, so you'll call out your class by the use of a period sign. And then footer, let's set the width to 100%, semicolon, and also we'll float it to the left-hand side, semicolon. Once you're done with it, refresh the page. Okay, now this is for the footer only. Next thing is footer left and footer right. We'll have to apply changes and styling to it. So footer left, so call it out, period sign, footer hyphen left, colon, not colon, but parentheses rather. Pardon me for that. So footer left, so let's go and set the width to 50%. Remember, it's half. And float it to the left-hand side. Control S to save. From doing it, you may go and refresh your page. So this is how it looks like. Okay, occupies 50% of the screen space. Now you can do the same for footer right. So if you're doing it same, Control C to copy. All you have to do is change this to right. Control S to save. You can go and refresh your browser. So this is what you get. All right, now if you want to add some space here, what can we do? So in this case, if I want to add a space, so I will go to my column, content, sorry, not column, but content, and add a margin hyphen bottom, and let's say 10 pixels. So slight bit of space. If you give it more value in here, so you'll have more space. Okay, so let's go and give in, let's say 20 pixels. Control S to save and then refresh your browser. Okay, a bit more space than previous one. So this is better, much more controlled now. Next up is, okay, now if you notice this, Google Map, it occupies only portion of the screen. How about we go and set it up to full screen mode? Now, to do that, you have a map. So how is it? So you have an ID here named map. Let's go and control this. How will you do this? So to do that, how you select your ID? IDs are normally selected with a hashtag. Call it as map, open and close parenthesis. So in here, what you'll do is you will set the width to the entire 100%. So when you set it to entire 100%, that means it occupies the 100% of the 50% that you have earlier allocated. So Control S to save, and then refresh your page. So now it occupies entire 50% of the space that you had allocated previously. Pretty good. Okay, looks good. The last thing that we are left with is copyright. So for copyright, this is what we're going to do. First of all, we'll write down a comment and we call it as copyright. So in your comment, we need to call out the selector. So your selector here is in form of a class called copyright. So we will put in a class as copyright, open and close parenthesis. So here we'll set the width to, what will be the width? 100%, since it occupies the entire space in the screen. So Control S to save. Okay, not much change at the moment. And then you will need to float it to the left hand side. Control S to save and then refresh. Looks better now. Okay, a bit, still a bit of work to do. After that, let's go and put the text in the center of the page. So text align, and let's say center followed by a semicolon. Control S to save. Looks better. There you go. And then let's go and apply a color. Let's go and match up the color with this color that you have here already. Sienna. What was the name of the color that you have given? Yeah, Sienna. So after this, your background hyphen color to Sienna. Control S to save. There you go. And the color of the text that you have in here in your copyright bottom footer, let's have it as white. Control S to save, then you may go and refresh your browser. There you go. So this is your complete website. Looks good? Yes, it does. Now, notice this. It just took us close to about an hour to get the entire thing done. Now, it may take you a little faster or a bit longer, depending on how quick you are in terms of recognizing all the elements in your website and, pardon me, how well versed you are with the codes. So if you know the CSS codes, it will make your work very, very easy. Okay, everyone? Yeah, so this was your final exercise, which we have just finished up on how to get a complete website done. Now, this is pretty simple, but it is effective. What you have done is you have used very simple elements, but is designed very, very well. Okay, so you may do the same when you are making a website, let's say in future, or have this as a framework for getting websites done in future projects. Okay, everyone? Now, just before we knock off with the class, very final class, please do note that your assessment project 2 is due this evening. Try your best to get it done on time and submit it on time. Should you be facing any problems and issues, feel free to drop me an email or a message on Moodle. Moreover, more than 80% of your grades, in fact 80%, complete 80% of your grades have already been released on Moodle, and you can view your coursework through the use of the grades feature. So please do that, and if you have any questions or queries, do feel free to drop me a message again. All right, everyone. So I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for being lovely audiences throughout the semester. I appreciate your time, your hard work, and your efforts. And I hope that we will work together in future courses and in future learning processes. Till that, everyone, take care, stay safe. Thank you. Goodbye.